The lazy donkey. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by green fields and tall mountains, there lived a merchant named Karim. He was a kind but hard-working man who traveled every day to nearby towns to sell salt. Karim owned a donkey named Bolu. Bolu was strong and healthy, but he was also very lazy. He always tried to find ways to escape work. Every morning, Karim would load heavy sacks of salt onto Bolu's back and take him to the market. Instead of being grateful for the food and care he received, Bolu grumbled in his heart. "Why must I carry so much weight every day? If only I could find a way to make my load lighter," he thought. One hot afternoon, as they were walking along the riverbank, Bolu accidentally slipped and fell into the water. When he got up, realized something surprising: the salt had dissolved, and the load on his back had become much lighter. Bolu felt overjoyed. "Oh, this is wonderful," he brayed. "If I fall into the water every day, I won't have to carry such a heavy burden." The next morning, Bolu decided to put his clever little trick into action. As Karim led him along the same path by the river, the donkey pretended to stumble and fell into the water. Just as he expected, the salt dissolved, and his load became lighter. Bolu laughed to himself. From that day on, he made it a habit to fall into the river every time they passed. At first, Karim thought it was an accident, but soon he realized that Bolu was being lazy and cunning. Karim said to himself, "So, this donkey thinks he is smart. I must teach him a lesson." The next day, instead of salt, Karim loaded the donkey with big sacks of cotton. The sacks looked large but were much lighter than salt. Bolu was surprised. "Ah, what a kind master I have. Today, my load feels easy, but if I fall into the water, it will be even lighter." So, as they reached the river, Bolu deliberately dropped himself into the water. But this time, the cotton absorbed the water and became soaking wet. The load grew heavier and heavier until poor Bolu could hardly move. He tried to get up, but the weight was too much for him. His legs trembled, and his back ached terribly. Karim looked at him and said, "Bolu, you see what happens when you try to be lazy and cheat your work? Instead of making life easier, you have made it harder for yourself. Work honestly, and you will never suffer." Bolu felt ashamed. He realized how foolish he had been. From that day forward, he stopped pretending and worked faithfully. He carried the salt without complaint and never again tried to play tricks. The villagers noticed the change in Bolu. He looked healthier and happier, because he no longer wasted his energy thinking of ways to avoid work. He had learned that laziness and dishonesty only bring trouble, while hard work brings peace and respect. Moral of the story: laziness and dishonesty will always lead to more hardships, but honesty and hard work bring ease and success.